and Stone. Let me get a ball night, national panel. Ball night. Yeah. After every single day this summer talking about it, that's all you got for me? Let's go. Rodgers! Let me get a Rodgers, national panel.
Rodgers!
Of course. What else did you think was going to happen last night? And Plasky, let me get a Plasky. It's over.
It's over. Dodgers in 7. Dodgers in 7.
There you go.
What a homer.
There you go. Hey, Bill, who was better last night? The crowd, which is the players who are so upset about it, or the players?
Around the Horn, the show of
players
competitive banter. Here's
That'll change.
Tony
They'll
Rielli.
turn that around.
Aaron Rodgers. Okay. Should we do the stop me when this sounds familiar? You'd be stopping the whole thing. The comeback, the perfect passes, the non-existent defense, the run that he has. It came after the play where he whiffed, and then he ran, like Tiger Woods. That flag there for the very Richard Sherman defensive holding, which gave him a second chance. And, of course, the feeling that Aaron Rodgers pulled another rabbit out of his head. Not sure I heard that one before either. Sarah Spain, let's start with you. How did something that always happens happen again? Was it Rodgers? Was it the Niners? Was it that flag the ref threw on Richard Sherman?
Yeah, it's a combination of things. Of course the flag matters, but I don't think it's a bad call. It's just a tough call to make at that point in a game. I could see why you'd be frustrated, but you'd be more frustrated if you're looking at a Niners defense that allowed a guy who had a minute left and no timeouts to march down the field and basically welcomed them out of bounds. Here, wipe this away, step on out of bounds. We're not going to do anything to stop you. Listen, this is not surprising. We've seen Aaron Rodgers do this a million times. What is surprising to me is how many people are acting as if this is new or that we learned anything about Aaron Rodgers or the Packers. This is not a great Niners team. This is a Packers defense that let C.J. Beathard have a perfect passer rating almost all the way through 3 quarters. What we learned is that both of these defenses struggled. The 2 quarterbacks looked pretty good. And when the Packers line up against some pretty tough teams going forward, we'll have to watch again and see who they really are behind a great quarterback.
A little bit of cold water splashed on one of the great finishes of the season. Kevin Blackistone, how about you?
Well, I mean, these are some good reasons. I mean, look, the San Francisco 49ers had a chance to put this game away. They had a nice kick return, a penalty, put the ball almost at midfield, and then 3 downs and a pick, and all of a sudden, here comes Aaron Rodgers. You just can't do that. And on a night when you actually generated some good offense, your defense has got to stand up. But there was no defense last night that stood up for either of these teams. So certainly this goes down once again in the record books for what makes Aaron Rodgers so great. There is no game that he is ever out of. If you give him an opportunity, he's going to beat you in the last second.
On the point that there's no defense, are you throwing a flag on Richard Sherman on the hold? That was the defense he was playing that gave the Packers a second chance.
Absolutely. You can't reach across a receiver's chest like that and effectively turn his body. Had Aaron Rodgers thrown the ball right at that point, then you would have seen, wow, that has to be a flag.
Bill Plaschke?
We're reminded of the same thing we saw opening night against the Bears. Aaron Rodgers can win games almost by himself. He's on a bad knee against the Bears, Sarah. Did you hear that? He was on a bad knee.
Yeah,
he was on a bad knee. Yes, we know he's on a bad knee.
He has 2 rookie receivers. He's 3 for 3 in the last 2 minutes against the blitz. 2 touchdowns in the last, 10 points in the last 2 minutes of the game. He's running, he's passing to the sidelines, perfect routes. I mean, again, yeah, the Packers defense stinks. The Packers themselves probably aren't very good. But like KB said, when you have Aaron Rodgers, you have a chance. Is there any other quarterback like that today?
Woody Page.
Both defenses stuck, but I have to go against what Kevin and Sarah said, that I have watched, Sarah, to use your word, 1,000,000 practices, and I have seen offensive teams on the field by themselves, and they can't go 81 yards in less than a minute. So I don't care what the defense is. You know that there's got to be a couple of offensive mistakes, and there wasn't. I mean, after Rodgers grabbed his knee and looked like he was going to leave the game, on the next play he runs for about 20 yards.
Yeah. So what do you think that is? You think he's that's a little like Tiger Woods. When Tiger Woods hits a bad shot, his back hurts. So when Tiger Woods then on the next swing has a good shot, everything's fine again. Okay. All right. I hear what you're saying there. Woody, you can finish up.
No, I was just going to say that's exactly what he's doing. The defense went, well, he's going to throw again. And so they just left the middle of the field open, and he went, gotcha. But in regard to Rodgers, let's find out over the next 4 or 5 games when they have to go on the road and play at Minnesota at the end of that. They got to play at the Rams, and they've also got another game against Miami, which came back and won. I just think that this is a situation that's going to be difficult for them to survive.
Back in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, he's arguing a straw man. He didn't argue against anything I said. I agree that Aaron Rodgers does amazing things that can't be done by others. My point is that what he did against the Niners last night has taught us nothing new about him. It simply reinforces his legacy and leaves us still with all the questions left to be answered by the team that isn't just Aaron Rodgers.
Woody's face when you said he's arguing a straw man was like, what? I don't know. Wizard of Oz? Ray Bolger? What's going on here? I'm hearing you guys bemoan a certain thing here. There's no defense. These defenses are terrible. We heard this in about 8 games yesterday as well. And it's true, right? I mean, defenses are terrible. And offenses are at an all-time rate now, which is why I asked that question to you, Blackstone, about the holding on Richard Sherman. Because, yes, it's an absolute hold. It's absolutely Richard Sherman 101. He's done it a million times and gotten away with it. This time, he didn't even complain that it was a bad call, which really suggests it. But my wonder is, are there so many defensive penalties that prevent defenses from actually playing defense that the offenses can always get to a point where the score is 43-40 and 33-30? Plaschke, you want to just address
No,
that?
it's just what Richard Sherman said. They just have to play smarter. They have to figure out and work around these rules. And again, these rules are there for player safety. The majority of the bad hits are defense on offense. They have to have these rules.
But that wasn't about player safety last night. That was a hold where
right. I'm saying, but that we talk about all the rules. But this is the players know the rules. They have to adjust.
Right. We know the rules. We've been horn. We'll move on. Baseball. Brewers 4, Dodgers squadouche. The hilarity of Craig Counsell pitching Hader when it was 4-0 in the 8th, then pulling him to save him and sweating out the meatballs of the 9th inning. But we're going to talk about something that happened in this game. And Plaschke, you were there, and you addressed this a little bit on Twitter and in writing. Well, the Dodgers players were not so happy that the crowd, A, wasn't in the game, and then booed Grandal with the way he was bumbling around there with the pass ball. So I want to ask you directly now, is this about the fans that are watching the game, or is this about the Dodgers?
Can you run any more of the column, or just have to run the headline? There's no room to run any more of the column anymore? No? Okay. Yeah, it was, the Dodgers, the fans in L.A., they feed off the players' energy. The players had no energy. 0 for 10 of the runners in scoring position, 14 strikeouts, left bases loaded in the game. Just a terrible game. The fans, I don't blame the fans. They boo. They want to be entertained. This is L.A. There was no entertainment there. There was no competitiveness there. And the players were wrong. Any players who criticize the Dodger fans for booing are wrong. The Dodger fans have every right to show their displeasure. It's been 30 years, Tony, 30 years. They sat through this. The last time they said this, something like this was Game 7 last year when the Dodgers had no energy again in the World Series. The fans are fed up, and I don't blame them for booing.
When you hear Dodgers players saying, where are the fans here? They should be cheering us. What do you say?
They didn't exactly say that, right? They said that they sat on their hands and there was really no noise until they took the opportunity to boo one of their own. And I understand there wasn't a whole lot to cheer for. But if you want it to be another 30 years, then continue to boo a team thinking that that's going to make them play better or try harder or care more. Because I know there will always be people that disagree with me, but I don't think you boo your own team. I don't think it makes your team play any better. And I especially don't think that someone like Orlando Arcia is suddenly just trying harder, and that's why he has as many home runs in the playoffs that he did in the entire season. It's not about that. These guys aren't not trying. It's not that it doesn't matter to them. You get in a slump, and they picked a real bad time to not play well, but booing them isn't going to make them play any better. And so I understand that the players feel that way.
I got to start with Bill. Okay, so the fans in L.A. are special because they want to be entertained. I guess the fans in D.C., Chicago, and Denver are not interested in entertainment. What are they interested in? Just drinking beer? Where are you keeping those Dodgers bats at the stadium? In the Belfry? I mean, you haven't brought them out like Mighty Casey. They have struck out over and over and over again. It's not about the fans. It's about the players. Here you put together, the greatest team since the 27 Yankees offensively, and yet it came can't get any runs. They can't figure out Shashin. They can't figure out anything. And you're sitting here telling us they're going to come back and win 7 games when they can't even win 1 game and score 1 run in a game. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, gosh, the fans aren't allowed to boo. They're allowed to just scream out.
I don't believe you're characterizing Class Q column totally correctly, Woody.
Yeah, not at all. Even close.
In fact, it sounds like you're agreeing exactly with what Lasky wrote and said on the show just 2 minutes ago. Go ahead, Blackistone.
I'll just say this. When you go to a stadium, the ticket salespeople, they have a job. The ticket takers have a job. The vendors have a job. The players have a job. The coaches have a job. The media has a job. The fans do not have a job. They can do whatever they want sitting in their seats. And if they don't like what is being shown to them on the field, they have a right to do whatever they want to do. And not only that, I don't think the players have to feed off of the fans for a game like this. These Dodgers have been in this situation time and time again. It is up to them as professional athletes to rise to the occasion.
Well, the situation they're in now is down 2-1. They are at home for the next 2. The most interesting thing in the series is Hader coming out last night, and you're thinking, well, he wasted him in a 4-0 game. Then he pulls him back, and is he fresh tonight? And how does this play out, Bill?
Yeah, I was stunned last night. I thought Hader was in there for the rest of the game. But Counsell made all the right moves. I still think this bullpenning thing that the Brewers are trying has never really worked or been tried for 7-game series before. The Dodgers are seeing these relievers. They got to the relievers. They've been in each game until the very end. I think the Dodgers still win this series in 7 games because I just think the bullpen of the Brewers, they're using them so much, so frequently, I think they're finally
all right, you've got the Dodgers tonight, sounds like. After the horn, just yell out a pick. Woody, Sarah, Kevin, let me hear it. Let me hear the music in it.
The team with the bullpenny thing.
Dodgers.
Sarah, what was that?
With Gio.
The team with the bullpenny thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Condescended against will win.
We'll move on. ALCS Game 3. Here's your preview as old as time. The Instagram post of the home run you hit off the starting pitcher when he was pitching for another team, just like Cap Anson did it. A.J. Hinch had Bregman take down the post. Is it disrespectful? Hinch said no. If it crosses the line, you have to question whether it crosses the line, and it probably does. Have lines been crossed here? Anyone want to answer this, Woody? Have lines been crossed?
No, not at all. This is actually fun. We're supposed to be having fun in baseball, and people are paying attention not to the baseball games last night, but to a football game. And I think what he's doing here, if you want to just go beyond the actual Instagram, is that he's been walked almost a record 10 times so far in the postseason in 24 at-bats. He is trying to say to them, hey, pitch to me. See if you can strike me out. And they're not willing to do that. They just pitch around him. So I think that's what that was his message about.
Sarah, is that what it's about to you?
No, I mean, I think it's a little tacky. If it was creative or, clever, then I'd be down for the fun of it all. But it's not really creative. It's just, hey, here's a guy that we one time hit back-to-back off of. Although, if I'm the Red Sox, I'm a lot more worried about the Astros being 10-1 in the last 2 postseasons at home than I am about some instant story.
There was just a piece in USA Today championing the NBA as America's new pastime based off of the fact that it's on social media more than any other sport and bemoaning the fact that the NFL and Major League Baseball are not up there. So here's an opportunity for Major League Baseball to have fun on social media, one of its players. That's all it's about. Bregman's a 24-year-old dude. This is his oxygen.
Yeah, they're young dudes having fun on social media. It's good for baseball. It's good for the game. None of them take it seriously. No, I guarantee you, none of those players take that any seriously than Aaron Judge doing the New York. It's all fun. It's what kids do. It's great for them. It's good for the game.
We're taking a break right here. Fire Stella the other side. Stick around. This is his oxygen. Like
this show on Twitter.
6 months ago, I moved here to become a cop. We got